Welcome to another episode of the Marriage Game Podcast, with a voice you trust when it comes to lust, and we are who you hire when she lacks desire, and we may be the couple that you love to hate. Last week, I forgot to ask Jesse on a date.
Yeah, you did.
And how did that make you feel?
Mad?
Yeah.
But you know it was cool?
Tell me more.
I wanted to say something or like have a talk, like to tell you how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And you came in from something and you came in raging like, you know what this made me feel like, da-da-da. Like in a good way that you realized all the things I was about to say to you. And I was like, well, I don't have to say anything.
How did that make you feel?
Great.
Did it make you feel like, wow, he gets it, he understands what's going on? What was great is surface level. What was the deep?
I wish you had got it before. But you didn't, and you caught yourself quickly, which is nice.
Well, let me tell them the internal dialogue I was having.
Okay.
So there we were. It was a Friday.
There we were.
Jordan was gone, off being the honcho in San Pancho.
Yep.
And I was about ready to do my cold plunge myself. And I thought, what are we doing tonight? Oh, I want to take Jesse on a date. Let's go do this, So I was like, hey, you want to go on a date? And you're like, kind of last minute. I don't have a sitter.
We didn't plan it during our meeting.
And I'm like, fuck, we didn't plan it. We didn't plan it during our meeting. And I know why, because we were hot on Father's Day and what was that? But I just slipped. And at first when I asked you, you're like, I really can't go, I got at first my initial internal dialogue was like, well, fuck off, dude.
Well, that came out in your tone. But you
sure
didn't say any of those things.
No, I did.
You said, this is how you were. Oh, okay. Which means fuck off. What the hell? Make it happen. Like all these things. Like you can hear it and you like, huh. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's how you react.
Yeah. I know to pause long enough and not to say what's actually.
But you said it. I could, because I know you so well. So I could hear all that in between in your thoughts.
Of course.
And you're like, okay.
So then I sat in the hot tub after I said, okay, well, you're like, well, let me see what I can do. Let me do what I can do. You're like, but I don't think it's actually going to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
it was like a few hours till like dinner. Like, what?
And I was like, you're fucking up, my guy. It was just that simple. Like, Keith, if you were going to take anybody on a date, you would have already asked him by now. You wouldn't ask him the day of, hey, you want to go doing this thing. That's not even your standard.
Yeah.
Period.
And what I was going through my head is like, you plan dates, quote unquote, like with your Ascend guys, you're 6 weeks in advance. You're putting thought into where are we gonna go. Like I felt none of that energy,
right, at
all.
See, so
I was just an afterthought. Few hours, want to go on a date, like, bro.
And the listener might be thinking, well, aren't you guys married? Like, won't you do this thing? And the answer is yes, we are, and we do spontaneously hang out at times. But if you want a great date life, you're going to have to take the lead and go, this is what let's plan it out. Let's line it up. Let's get it going.
Well, a woman's more at ease when I'm planned because I have kids, right? Like, 100%. So the kid situation, I can't just take off.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I don't want to just leave her at home, and I'm in the trenches of summer right now. Yeah. So I want to plan.
You're not wrong. And then once I realized, I was like, you just didn't hammer down the logistics meeting on what you had going on this week. And I was like, all right, that's a problem. Which made it this week like, I'm not going to do that. We're going to absolutely line everything out. And where are we going tonight?
Dinner.
Dun, dun, dun. So it was this thing that at first I was really frustrated, but I've learned that oftentimes those frustrations all come back to me, and I need to just pause and go, okay, what part did you have? Don't worry about anything else. Just ask yourself what part you had to play in this, and where were you in the leadership role of all of this? Yeah. And that's where I realized, oh, fuck, I dropped the ball. And it's not that big of a deal, except it is, and here's why. I've noticed about you and myself that our standard for how we show up for each other and ourselves is comparatively very, very high compared to most people. Yeah. And if we drop that standard at all, from the outside, people would look in and go, everything's perfect. No, you don't get it. When you live at such a high level standard for someone, like I'm going to, whatever it is our standard is, if it drops at all for a week or two, it's like, what's going on here? Like we almost instantly feel it with each other.
Yeah, you start getting cranky with each other, and that's how we know.
Yeah, and then but here's how I know what's happening, and this is how I know, because what I realized actually is, I haven't been the greatest on the partner dial. Not bad, but not great. And so it's like we're used to having great high standards. And if we just go down to good with not a lot of explanation, it's like, what's going on here?
Well, there's a reason why we don't fall so far is because we have been all over, right? We've been so low, so high. So we know what it's like to be good. And when we start slipping from that, it feels off to us.
Yeah.
And because we don't want to let it get so far. So we're like, nope. So we hold each other to that standard.
Yeah.
That's going to stay high.
Exactly.
We're going to constantly be working on our relationship. Why would we not?
Exactly. I realized, though, in that moment that I was like, oh, shit. I have a higher standard, a higher level of what it means to be a partner with Jesse. But there's a thing that I start noticing that's happening inside of me. And what it is I start getting negative about a lot of shit. Mm-hmm. And I start getting negative. Mm-hmm. I start like, and I was like, whoa, this isn't your makeup. This isn't who you are. Yeah. You have a positive view of things. And we're working on different things that could have possibly caused that. But I think ultimately, we've just been really busy. Yeah. And the key to because everybody goes, I'm just really busy. When I talk to guys on the phone, like, when's your date? Like, oh, just really busy. That's not an excuse. Yeah. So when we go really busy, welcome to fucking being an American in the West in 2025. Everybody's busy. But if it's on your schedule, you'll make it happen. Yep. And I realized once again, how important our logistics meeting. Yeah. It's the most unsexy meeting we do during the week. Yeah. But it sets your mind free that everything's covered.
I noticed so we didn't plan the date night, right? So, and then the logistics meetings were kind of slipping. So everything was kind of spilling and there was a lot of intention behind a lot of things. Yeah. And so that's when we start falling into this kind of like rut and bickering. Mm-hmm. It's all like, you can see the pattern now. 100%. Then you start getting negative towards me. I'm definitely negative towards you. Yeah. And now we're bickering at each other. Yeah. And then we're like, wait, stop. What's really going on here?
I think one of the things that might be going on is you don't know jujitsu.
Is that bothering you?
Well, we don't get to wrestle on the mat and kind of handle some of this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
I think that's the problem.
Nope.
But that is it. It's always the simple things that when you let them slide and
the little things.
But it's this thing. If it's easy to do, it's easy not to do.
Yep.
And that is the trick. It's
you know how we should have like this mark where we start like, because you know how we push our logistic meeting, sometimes like something will happen, we're like, oh, we'll do it later, and then we don't get to it. So when that starts happening, we're like, no, we need to do it.
I'm already in my brain on that one, like logistic meeting. I'm never missing one again.
Well, like we have talked about this, and it kind of slips.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like that's the mindset.
So just know that
now.
This is where we're going to spiral if this doesn't plan out.
We have 100% a pattern of that.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just called not being on the same page.
Yeah.
If you're starting to feel marital rage, it's clear that you're not on the same page.
Great.
Welcome to another episode of the Married Game Podcast. But that really is the issue. It's just like, shit, we're not on the same page. We're not going in the same direction. Yeah. And then what happens is we start to feel overlooked.
It's in my mind, you know what I was doing too? It was like I was just nitpicking the shit out of you in my mind.
How could you do that?
I know, you're an angel.
What was one of the things you nitpicked? Just out of curiosity, just for funsies. What are we doing?
First thing I get frustrated at with you is that your intention with like me or Jovia or anything at home, like on the daily, not saying not on the weekends or when we go to dates, like you show up, you're amazing. But that daily, like Monday through Friday situation, you know, like I don't see you as often. We're working, we're busy. There we go. We're busy again. And we don't have a lot of connection sometimes. It starts to spiral that way. So I start getting real mad at you, like, what the fuck? Like, are you even a part of this family right now? That's what it feels like in that moment. And then in my mind, I'm like, yes, he's, you know.
And I think probably if we would have sat down, we knew that we were in a season of more live events than we typically do, and me traveling and stuff. I think at the beginning of that, if we would have sat down and said, hey, we're going to be tempted to feel these things because there's some extra responsibility on us during this particular time. In light of that, let's give each other a lot of grace. And let's try and be extra intentional so that way we're really crossing our diet. And here's the thing is what we were still having sex all the time. We were still
Yeah.
going and having a lot of fun. So like
Yeah.
our partner or rather our player dial,
Yeah.
and all these were still in play. It's that partner one.
Yeah.
If you fuck up the partner dial, really being there for that human being as their best friend and like their go-to human, it starts to fucking pile up the trains behind.
It does.
Really bad. So, yeah. All right, you ready?
For a game?
Yeah.
A married game?
Here we go with our...
It's a lot of cards you got there.
Well, you know what I mean? That's what she said. Pick your poison.
Okay.
That girl is poison.
That was not bad.
Yeah, I used to sing for a living, remember? I
Sweetie.
didn't make a lot of money, but I did sing for a living. Pick your poison. On today's episode, we're playing Pick Your Poison, tackling tough marriage moments with 3 close call choices. Are you ready?
Pick your poison.
Pick your poison. Here we go. Scenario number 1. Wife had a brutal day, barely saying a word at dinner. What's your move? A. Hit her with a direct, what's wrong? B. Keep it light and playful. Let her come to you when she is ready. And C. Drop a funny comment to cut the tension. Laughter first, talk later.
A. I choose A, just a direct. But I do like a funny comment to cut the tension, but not talk later.
Okay.
Also, sometimes I do want to come to you, but like I want you to open me up first. So it's like A, C, B.
ACB is your move?
Yeah.
Hit it with the direct, what's wrong?
Yeah. Like that's what a leader or man would do, right?
Is this your final answer?
That's mine.
There's
no right
I'm just kidding.
answer.
I'm just kidding. I would probably go for C first.
Yeah.
Drop a funny comment to get the tension, and then I'd probably say, is everything okay? I don't know if I'd say what's wrong. I would probably ask is everything okay? Or what's going on?
How was your day?
Yeah, what's going on? Or, hey, you seem a little off. Is everything all right?
Yeah.
It's more
I
of
don't like when you say that to me.
What?
I just don't like it. It's a great response.
Tell us why you don't like it.
But personally, I'm like, I just have this dead face and you ask me.
But why?
I
What's
don't
going on
know.
inside? Maybe, okay, we see the dead
Maybe you
face.
say-
Is it dead heart? What is it?
I think you kind of say it cheesy. Like, I don't know.
Like, you don't like when people take empathy or sympathy on you.
No, I don't.
Yeah. That's your fucking problem.
I do. That is. That's what I'm saying. Like,
how are you? Don't say how are you in that tone. It's
No,
like, Jesus,
seriously.
you fucking got a problem there, sister.
Seriously.
All right. So I'm going with C. Drop a
Why don't
funny
you
comment.
just try A with me next time and see what happens?
Next scenario. We're playing Pick Your Poison. Here we go. Scenario 2. She says she feels emotionally disconnected. How do you respond? I wanted to put my own funny one in
No.
there.
Read the card.
Read the card, Jackie. Stick to the script, bro. Okay, here we go. A, admit your distance, promise to fix it, but ask time to process. You hate that answer with that face. All right, B. Here we go. Plan a serious heart-to-heart date night to listen without defense. C, tell her you don't see the problem and suggest she is overthinking.
Stop right there. B.
Plan a serious heart-to-heart date night to listen without defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Weird. I can't believe that works.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, mine.
Okay.
What's
So-
yours?
She says she feels emotionally disconnected. How do you respond? Admit you're distant, promise to fix it, but ask time to process. Plan a serious heart-to-heart date night to listen without defense, and tell her you don't see the problem and suggest she's overthinking. Yeah, B is the closest to what I would say.
So if I had to choose out of those,
Yeah,
that's
but what would you actually rather
Well, if she's
see?
coming to you and saying to you in this moment, right then and there, that means she wants to talk about it right then and there.
Ooh.
Right? That means she's opening up to you, and it took a lot of courage to get there to say that. So listen, say, tell me more. Why do you feel that way?
Yeah, that was going to be my answer.
Yeah, but that's not on there. So
Well, but
I
it's
guess
close enough.
plan a date.
I wouldn't plan a serious heart date night to listen without defense. I would probably do it right then and there, and I'd be like, "Oh, tell me more. Tell me what's happening."
My personal opinion is,
But
gonna
if there's
take
not time,
Yeah.
that's probably why you have to set
time
the
and
date.
kids and someone knocking at the door,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But my opinion is that there's going to be like 3 series of talks, like to start getting it all out. You know what I mean? It's not just one date night. It's not just one conversation.
Well,
there's always like multiple following.
At a point though, it can get that quick. With you and I, it can be pretty quick. Like, hey, I
probably
feel
solid 2 good conversations. Like,
you think so?
Mm-hmm. One, you're like frustrated and you kind of get all the frustration out. And the second one's like, okay, let's regroup. Let's finish these loops, right? Let's close this chapter. It takes the angry one, and we're not that angry. We're just like
frustrated,
very frustrated.
Sharing your what a grievance and complaint or whatever.
Yeah, but in a way that's like you're emotionally wrapped up in it in the first one, and then you take a breather and then finish it up with the second conversation. That's usually how we work.
There's a caveat. I'm gonna go caveat on this one, and this is actually how our last couple ones went. So I'm gonna just describe how our last couple ones went.
And very recently,
this
past week.
This last week is like the first fight we've had in like real fight.
Like
I feel
a real
like
one. Yeah, we had like a little one, and then like this one.
Maybe 4 to 6 months, maybe if that. Okay, so
it's all your fault.
Yeah, probably. What I would probably do, and what is done in the past is, it can be one conversation if the guy gets it. So our the last 2 things you and I thought about on Friday and then on Monday.
Yeah, because we were busy Saturday and then we finished it.
One of these things.
Sunday? Yeah,
there's 2 different things we argued about. There was 2 different things about it. It was the date night thing.
Yeah.
And then the second thing was like more of a partner dial thing.
Yep.
So actually 2 different things.
Yep.
But both of these things, the first conversation where you might have shared some frustration, or it wasn't like a full sit down frustration, but you did share a little bit of your frustration. And then I thought about it and I thought, fuck, I'm fucking up. So when I approach you and go, well, it actually looks a lot like this. I'll send you a text. Fuck, I think I see what you're saying right now. Something to that effect.
And then I go like this, fucking finally.
Yeah, and then you go, oh, I can't wait to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
And then when we hang out at that point, I go, here's what I'm seeing. Here's the shit that I did. That's not up to my standard. That's upon further review.
Yeah.
This is not a touchdown. Fucking, we got to call this one back. So it's that kind of feeling.
Yeah.
So the answer is really, the quicker the guy just goes, hey, I'm owning this, and this, the faster this shit actually gets resolved.
And I'm really good at letting it go once I feel like you've seen my perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I'll be like, cool.
That's why most women hang on to their resentment, is because they realize their guy doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't agree with it, he can't articulate her position in a way that she goes, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. Yeah, so that makes sense. Oh, beautiful, man. Fucking beautiful. Scenario number 3 of pick your poison.
Okay.
You completely forgot your anniversary. What's your next move?
What?
Go to U-Haul and grab some packing boxes. You're about ready to move. No. A, apologize profusely and plan a memorable over-the-top celebration ASAP. B, brush it off, say you'll make it up with a thoughtful get later.
Next. No.
C, own the miss, keep it low-key, and ask how she wants to move forward.
I'd say A, I guess.
Why do you say yeah, you guess? You don't seem sold on any of those answers.
No, I don't really like anyone forgetting. Like, there's a lot more to it if you're forgetting an anniversary. Like, that should be in your phone. You should have thought of that weeks before. Where are the flowers? Like, no.
Is that inexcusable?
I'm not going to leave someone just for that alone. Like, if you were this amazing as you are right now, we hardly fight, we get along great, we talk about everything, and you forgot our anniversary, like, I'm not going to leave you because of that. But I'm always going to remember that, and you're never going to forget it again. Like, have you forgot Mother's Day since you forgot Mother's Day? Right. Right.
No, I don't have any shame or guilt or any feelings.
Well, we moved on from that relationship we had.
Yeah.
But you'll never do that again. Like, that's a big deal to me.
I would guess I would never do that
Right.
again. If I do, I'm a dum-dum.
Whoa.
Right?
Yeah.
I would hope not.
I would hope not to. Or forget our
I kind of like B, just brush it off, say you make it up with a thoughtful gift later.
Pretty sure you like that one.
Yeah.
No.
Own the miss, keep it low key, and ask how she wants to move forward. There's parts of of A and C that I like about this.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would apologize profusely. I mean, I really blew it.
Yeah, there you go.
Plan a memorable over-the-top celebration.
Yeah, they should be doing that anyways. Overnight, something amazing.
Kobe. You cheat on your wife and buy her a big-ass ring. Miss your fucking anniversary, plan something ASAP. All right. Scenario number 4, pick your poison. She's mad you're glued to your phone at dinner.
Why are you even doing that? There's more problems. That's why.
A, shut it off immediately and ask how you can make her feel prioritized. B, tell her you need
Better not be in a patronizing way either. You know what I mean?
Tell her you need that downtime, but you'll make more time for her. C, propose phone-free dinner starting now and stick to it religiously.
C?
Yeah.
I like C.
C, senor?
C.
Yeah, propose phone-free dinner starting now and stick to it religiously. Yeah.
Better like C.
Why would that be a problem for you if I was glued to my phone during dinner?
I'm not a priority to you, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, you've had all day to get whatever done. This is my time now.
This reminds me of something.
Yes.
A lot of guys feel this. It's not exactly on this scenario, but it kind of is maybe scenario adjacent.
Okay.
And it feels, a lot of guys are like, man, my wife has time for an hour-long bath. She has time to scroll her TikTok and her thing or whatever. But when it comes to me, it seems like she has no time for me. So this is kind of the situation in reverse. And what would you say to that guy?
Exactly how you said it. Like, I see that you have a lot of time for yourself. How come it feels like you're not prioritizing me? Why is that? I mean, just ask, right? And she'd be like, well, the kids, this and this, and say, well, I'm not feeling like a priority to you, and I would like to feel like a priority to you. I would like to feel like you love
me. If I came and said that to you, what would you feel about me?
I would ask, what more do you want from me? Not what more do you want from me? In a real way.
Yeah.
How can I make you feel like a priority?
Yeah.
What do you need from me then?
I like that. Yeah. I don't know that a lot of marriages are in that spot. So there's a place.
What do you want from me? They'd say it like that.
I like to go earlier in this situation and tell the guy this, and it's simply, well, recognize what it is for what it is and not what you think it is. I think this might be the best advice any guy could ever fucking hear when it comes to having a wife. And that is, not everything what you think you're seeing and experiencing is actually what you think you're seeing and experiencing.
I love that. Tell me more.
Yeah, it's simple. It's, if your wife is spending more time on her phone and has literally zero time for you, at face value, not because you are in the situation to take yourself out, what does that scenario actually tell us about what's the reality of the situation? Here's a couple of observations. Number 1, clearly she's feeling more fulfilled, having more fun, and more interested in whatever's on that phone than you. That's the reality of the fact. Because if it wasn't that case, that would not be happening. So let's accept that as reality. You with me so far?
Yeah, I like it.
All right, step 1. Step 2, I would ask myself, what about me would be and could be more interesting than what the fuck is on that phone? That's step 2.
Okay.
So first of all, where am I at? Oh, wait, I'm boring. Step 2, what can I actually do? And then 3, start to do those things because you want to be that guy. Do you know how many people scroll on their phone when they talk to me?
A lot.
No one.
No, some do.
Who?
You had some friends scrolling, you're like, I'll finish.
Oh.
Or I'll hold off.
Okay, yeah, that does happen sometimes.
They don't do it now anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
It's you mean like your guys here and all? Like, that would never happen.
Literally anybody.
Yeah, in this setting, for sure. But, I thought 2 more things to add to that.
Okay.
Is that another one is him as the leader to take control of the situation, not control the situation. Take control of the situation is to the way you do, like you're like, I'll wait, you know, to people who are looking at their phone. You say, I'll wait. Say something like that to her. Or you can start asking her questions that engages her. How was your day? Guess how mine was. Start a conversation.
Yeah, okay, but that right there, I agree, but I think that's further down the line.
Okay.
She's not interested in it. If somebody, pick anybody USA who you're not connected to and have no care about, and almost like a little bit like that.
Actually, yeah.
And they go, how was your day? The answer is very simple.
Good.
Fuck off.
That's a good means.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just basically like, I don't want to talk to you. So that is this scenario of somebody scrolling on their phone as opposed to being with their person is one of the biggest signs to me that she's just not addicted to being around you. She's addicted to be on her phone. Yeah. Why? Well, you're not apparently that interesting.
The last thing that I thought about too when you first said that the situation is not really what it is you don't know. When you walk in the door and you haven't been there all day, you don't know what kind of day she had until she tells you, right? If that was like her first second, she just sat down after all day, and now you're like, hello, like, I would hope that she'd be like, I just sat down, I need a minute, and you'd be like, oh shit, okay, me too, or whatever.
That's not what these scenarios these guys are explaining to me, though.
Yeah.
They're like, we lay in bed for an hour, and she's scrolling her phone, and he tries to go, and she's like, I'm not in it, and like, he tries to make a move, and she's like, nah, I'm not good. And then she'll still scroll her phone. He goes, why would you pick that phone over me?
Yeah, like if he walks in, they haven't talked all day, and he grabs her ass, I'd be like, what?
Well, depends on if he texted her before. Depends on where they're at. They're
sounds like in the kind of relationship that you
but this situation is so real, and a guy feels so butthurt by it. But the answer is, you're boring. You're boring. That's it. You're not good at conversating. Yeah. There's no intrigue. You and I will sit down to watch a show. We like watching certain different shows, and we almost never get to them.
Yeah. Because we sit down and we're like, okay, we're gonna put it on, and then we turn on them, and then I pause it instantly. I'm like, oh my god, and then an hour goes by. I'm like, wait.
Yeah. We're like,
now we only have 10 minutes.
I'm like, I gotta go pick up Joey from gymnastics. I'll see you later, man.
I know.
But that what does that say? That we're both very interested in what the other person has to say. We enjoy being around each other. We like hearing from each other. Yeah. So those are the steps that I think are before that a guy has to understand the reality of is like, why would you be mad at her for doing what any human would do in that same exact situation?
How would you get him to hear that? Even though, because you just said it like that, it's still like in that moment, how do you not take it personal or not feel like it's her fault or she's not, you know? Yeah. Like, how do you tell him something like that? You can say it to him, but is it actually going to seep in?
Well, how about this? Name another man that's talking about this topic in this way. Nobody I've heard. Nobody I know. Yeah. So that's the problem. We've got two voices telling this to the world, in a world that has heard a million other voices that are like, yeah, dude, your wife, oh, she scrolls and she's fuck that. Yeah. Rather than go, why? Have you asked yourself why? Because she used to not be on her phone. She used to be really into you.
That's like deeper, the deepest.
Remember that?
To go to that, yeah.
Yeah. But that is I believe that's why we've hit what we've hit. And why we experience what we experience. Because like, what the fuck is the core issue? The core issue is, you're boring, dude. You're boring. You're not interesting. Well, what I got to do to be interesting? Be interested. That's the simplest thing. If you want people to be interested in you, be interesting. But if you really want people to think that you're interesting, just be interested in them. It's that simple. So rather than, so how does a guy work his way out of this particular scenario? He might be like, what are you scrolling? Tell me more about, like, start to get involved. It's called jujitsu, motherfucker. It's called, like, take the energy that you're given and use it to your advantage. Yeah. What's going on? Tell me. There might be something on this she's really into. Yeah. And she knows you don't know anything about her, so she doesn't even want to talk about it with you because you're like, you wouldn't even understand. This happens a lot.
when you ask me like what I'm looking at or whatever, I'm like, oh my God, this guy, this girl, like, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and then I want to tell you because I'm interested, obviously, in something. So it's exciting then to share it to you.
Another shift on this, based on what you just said, what I thought was so good, is be interested in her. Like, you like TV. It's just, you like sitting and watching shows.
Yeah.
Without you, I hate it.
Yeah.
Like, literally feel like I'm rotting my soul.
Yeah.
But if I'm with you, I don't feel that way at all. I feel like we're connecting and we're vibing and we have inside jokes and there's a lot of stuff. But if I sat there by myself on the couch and you ever come in and I'm watching reality TV.
Not reality, but you'll watch a documentary or an animal show.
Because that causes me to grow. I feel like I'm learning something.
Me too.
You're not
I'm
wrong.
I'm learning in reality shows what not to do.
And when we do watch these shows together, we have so much fun. Especially the loved ones and the Love is Blind.
Who's watching Love Island right now?
Love Island,
it's
fucking
so good.
Triangle, whatever.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
All that shit's really interesting. And what was the one I told? Love is Blind?
Yeah, but Love Island is on right now. Everybody knows about it if they're listening. Oh, yeah. Every night. It's so good. But I'm doing research, so.
Yeah, you are. So but if you ever come home and I'm watching reality TV
I would
alone,
die.
Well, you would know that's not me. Who the fuck are you?
What
you do with Keith? You're like, this
you
is...
killed him off, didn't you?
Oh my God, dude.
I think, that's what I would think.
So, but what I did, rather than despise it...
Yeah, you used to get so mad at me.
I now entered in and go, wait, if she was into fucking badminton, I would be into it with her. I'd be like, tell me more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But because it's mind-rotting television that's making people dumber... Not you, because you're using research.
Exactly.
But for other people.
Mm-hmm.
And
everybody else.
I'm like, well, this is a way for me to connect with her and something that's meaningful to her. And how much do you love that? Mm-hmm. Even knowing how much I hate TV, when I sit and watch TV with you anymore, do you feel like, oh God, he's hating this?
No.
No, you're like,
and you massage my feet.
Yeah. You got good feet.
Thanks.
I like your feet.
Win-win.
Mm-hmm.
Next.
Well, so that's the thing. That's a big one for guys. Mm-hmm. A big one for guys. Like, man, she's on her phone. She's on this and on this. And it's like, it's so much deeper. So the context with it is look for an opportunity to blend into her and find out about her.
Yep.
Step in and go, what do you do? What are you doing? So good stuff. Scenario 5 for all our Spanish speakers out there. Hola.
Pero like...
Hola, buenas tardes. You disagree hard on how to spend your weekend off together. Mm-hmm. A, surrender and do exactly what she wants. No complaints.
No.
B, lay out your plan and push for it, trusting she'll come around. C, find a middle ground. Have her pick. Or half her pick, half yours. No arguing.
Well, C.
Okay, tell me more.
Well, I'm a planner. I like to plan. Mm-hmm. And I want you to have alone time and your time, and I want you to give me that as well. And I want to do stuff together. So, and no arguing. So I like that one. No, but I like to plan our weekends.
Yeah.
And when we don't plan it very well, it doesn't go very well. So
no. Shocker.
Where'd you get it? We started off with this one anyways.
Yeah.
With our logistics meeting.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Perfect. Scenario 6. She's stressed about work and needs support. What do you do? Step up and take over all chores silently? No questions asked?
Ooh, I love that one. Yes.
If you pick that one, you're fired. Dude.
A.
B.
You're fired.
Ask what she needs, but only act when she clearly tells you.
No.
C. Give her space. Check in once a day just to listen without offering fixes.
Well, I do like A and C.
What do you like about A?
Well, it specifically said without asking. So he stepped up and took initiative without asking. That takes a load off her brain. If she's working and if I had a job, right, I wouldn't be with you. I would be with someone probably a lot different. Then I would want him to do some of the house stuff too, right? Or stuff with the children. So apparently this kind of relationship has 2 people working, so 2 people need to do the household stuff. That's in that kind of relationship. In our kind of relationship, I wouldn't expect you to do anything like that. I would just want you to support me in a way like I would want you to ask me questions. I want you to be a listening ear and just be there for me like my best friend would. For us, that's what I would want. But so if he did step up and started doing things around the house, I'm like, and she came home and it was done, like, that's a lot of load off her. So I really don't know what kind of relationship this is, but I'm just assuming.
Step up and take over all chores.
Not
No
all.
questions.
See, that's the thing too.
Yeah. So
Okay, but I do like
give her space. Check in once a week. Yeah, there's a kind of a mix of what all this is.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what is the D answer that I would probably give to this would be
the D.
Yeah. She's like, oh, you're stressed out.
Here's the D. I'm gonna give you what you need.
you need more dick. Clearly you're frustrated.
Maybe she does.
She does. I would sit down together and go, how do we want to attack this? If we're stressed, this has got me going in my mind in so many different directions. But the thing is I think high stress levels have been congratulated in our society. I'm just so stressed, like it's a badge of honor. And when somebody tells me they're highly, highly stressed, I just think that they're not managing their life the way they need to. And we've had times where they're stressed, but
I really don't ever say stress. I say overwhelmed or the day was rough.
Okay.
There was a lot to do today.
Maybe
I never feel like stressed.
If this is a daily thing, like this is just one day, hey, she comes home one day stressed about work and needs your support, what do you do? Then A would probably, hey, you know what? Go take a load off.
Yeah.
It's a bad day. I got the kids. I got the this. I got the that.
Yeah.
That's a good move. That's a best friend partner type move, right?
Teammate for sure.
Teammate. And I think if you show up like a teammate, one of the ways to do that would be if this is a chronic thing, she's always stressed about work. Well, I'm going to tell you my perspective as a man. I'd be like, if your wife is stressed about work and she comes home and and you're like, she can't be this feminine person. Dude, you're sending her out to the world for 8 hours of conditioning of being a hardened fucking we're gonna go and stressed out and that type of thing. So in that scenario, I'm not gonna pull any punches, man. I don't. If a woman is that stressed out about work, she probably doesn't want to be there. And I would ask the man why what is the deal. But I don't know if there's kids in here in this situation. I don't know. There's a lot of things I don't know, and it's kind of more specific. But I think as a man, I would, if you're coming home stressed from work all day, my natural tendency would be like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
But I think the conditioning of our culture and our society has got people working so hard to try and just stay afloat that that this is probably more of a reality for people than I'm probably aware of, because most of our friends, this is not the situation that any of us would remain in for very long.
No, that's why I said in our relationship, it wouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
You want to come home to
So
peace.
the answer for this, no matter what relationship you're in, is go tell me what's stressing you out. This is the answer. Tell me what's stressing you out. Is there anything I can do to help you? Because I love you and you're my best friend.
Yep.
That's the answer.
If you couldn't come home to peace, I mean, what would that be like for you? You wouldn't.
No, I would. That would not happen in my life.
Yes. And you come home and the house is
peaceful.
Very peaceful.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing about how we live our life. Pick your poison.
Okay.
Scenario 7. She calls you out for not being emotionally available, but every time you try to open up, she shuts down. What do? A, keep pushing to share your feelings. B, pull back emotionally, protect yourself, and wait for her to make the first move. C, switch tactics, show love through actions instead of words, and let that speak.
C.
Yeah, you're always going to win with actions.
Yeah.
She calls you out for not being emotionally available, but every time you try to open up, she shuts you down. Well, this is going to... Is there anything else you wanted to say on that one? You just picked C?
Yeah, C's good.
That's simple for you?
I like actions.
It's the only thing that actually is real. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I saw our buddy Dan Martell do a reel recently, and he's like, how come everybody that's broke, I tell what to do, they go, yeah, I know that, I have heard that, I've done that. He goes, well, clearly you don't. He goes, the biggest know-it-alls are the ones that don't have anything in life, but they know everything. And so in a situation like this, when your wife comes to you and says, I want you to open up more emotionally, what a man will attempt to do in that is try to be vulnerable and share his emotions, but almost they're always contrived, and he doesn't know the language, and he's not really, he's trying to be emotional, and that's actually not what a woman wants. So here's a little lesson for everybody sitting at the table here and watching. When a wife says she wants you to open up, she's not saying, I want you to open up. She's saying, I want you to open me up. I don't know of any other way to say it than that. And that is how it really works. It's how it really works. So what that is going to do is you have to be a great conversationalist. So when she says, I want you to open up emotionally, this is what she doesn't want to have happen, because this is what will happen. You'll share something. I'm like, oh, that really sucks. You know what you should do?
Yeah.
And so she goes, fuck.
Yeah.
When, in reality, you should be like, tell me more. How did that make you feel? What do you think? Where do you think it's going to go from here?
Yeah.
What do you want to do? Are you feeling anything are you feeling like you're going to say something? Should you say, like, you just start asking questions to let her open up. And then, like magic, she goes, well, I don't know. What do you think I should do? It works 100% of the time.
What would you do in that scenario?
Yeah.
What should I do? Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
But if she doesn't feel like she can
Safe.
get it all out, well, what about that? Well, what did so-and-so say? Is anybody else feeling that way at your... there's so many questions you can ask about the scenario that she would be like, oh, God, he gets me.
Yeah.
And all you did was ask questions.
Yes. It's true. He so gets me.
He so gets me.
Yeah.
And he's saying, nah, that would never happen in my life. I would never let any of that shit happen in my life, and I would not think any of that shit. But this is what she's thinking, and that's what she's going through, and that is what it is. But understanding that, I think a lot of guys get tripped up on this. I actually posted a reel today about vulnerability versus dumping on someone. And the basic punchline of the concept is, what's the difference between being vulnerable and emotionally dumping on somebody? Do you have a particular way you would describe that if somebody came to you and said,
I have felt emotionally dumped on by you.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay. When?
No, in the past. I mean, I don't know. In the past.
Okay.
Where I feel like you come home and, like, you know, because you've had such a whatever day, and you're like, and then, and you don't even ask me, like, what day I had. You don't even care about, read the room. There's none of that. So it feels like I'm not in a space to, like, handle all that right now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it feels like an overload. Then I want to try to make you better, but, and then just, it's too much for me sometimes.
Yeah. Well, the punchline is this: the difference between emotionally dumping on somebody and or being vulnerable is one thing. You're either just complaining to complain, or you're saying, this is the situation I'm in, and here's the solutions I'm going to take to solve this. Very different. Hey, man, the business is doing X, Y, and Z, and because of that, I'm going to go do A, B, and C. Oh, okay. As opposed to, this is happening in the business, this is happening in business, this is happening in business.
I don't know what to do.
And now it's like you're almost, without saying it, looking to her for leadership, and she's like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, that's why I said it. It's like, sometimes I can't handle it. I'm like trying to fix it for you. Yeah.
And you try and go and fix it, and you're like, but shouldn't even be my job. Well, I don't know how to do any of this. What is he even talking about? And so
he's just offering advice.
That's the difference.
Like, help.
That's the difference, where you can come in and go, hey, this is what's happening. This is how I felt about what's happening, and here's the solution of what I'm going to go to do this. And then you go, oh wow, good luck. I hope let me know how it goes. Yeah. That's smart. I wouldn't have thought of that. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But if you're just complaining, you now become the complaining little bitch that she's like, well, can you grow a fucking nutsack and actually go handle yourself, or you need to come to your mama and fucking, be coddle you? So I think this seems so simple to you and I, but there was a point in time where I think we would have gotten all these answers wrong and not known any of this. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
That's pretty mind-blowing.
That's why whenever I answer a question, I refer to our old relationship very easily. I'm like, oh yeah, when I felt that way with you, here's what we do now.
Yeah. Do you think it's possible for people to get over all their past shit and just move on and just have light hearts with each other? I know we did it, but and we see a lot of people do it, but, like, what is your thoughts on that?
So then I do think it's possible. It takes a lot of work to get there. A lot of communication, a lot of internal realization of what's happening.
Awareness. Yeah.
And a lot of grace sprinkled on top.
As humans, we forget to offer grace to people, knowing that they're struggling and they're going through. There was something that you were doing, and I didn't like it very much.
Ooh, what was it?
I don't remember. I wish I did.
Me too.
And I got to the point where I was like, you do the exact same thing sometimes. And if Jesse rode your ass every time you were just working through something, that would be annoying. Almost like, remember what we said last night, we have some epic humans in our life that are male, female, all this. And you were saying something like, hey man, we should tell so-and-so, what's up with this thing? I go, I don't know, should we tell them? You're like, I don't want every time we hang out with people to think that we're going to like, hey, you need to fix this, fix this.
Like coaching them.
But a lot of times they ask the questions, hey, can I run something past you?
Yeah.
Of course. You know what I'm saying? But it's this energy of you don't want to correct everybody and everything. So I remember thinking like, she's going to work through this. Let her.
I want to know what it is.
I wish I could tell you.
Did I work through it?
You
don't remember?
I don't remember. Probably did.
Dang it.
You know what I mean? You probably did. But it was the me having to pause and go, every little, you're not Siskel and Ebert on every fucking scene in Jesse's life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thumbs up, thumbs down, correct this, change that. Nobody needs commentary in their life.
For every little thing.
No.
A
lot of women do this more than I think than dudes do.
I agree with that.
Yeah. But I do it sometimes. You're like, I don't need your commentary.
You get in your zone where you're like, what are you doing? I'm like, whoa, I didn't ask for Coach Keith. Like, just my friend.
Coach Keith can get a little fucking wild and wound up a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think?
That's a good one.
That was fun. That was a good segment, Jordan. I like that. That was good stuff. Pick your poison. The bottom line is this: knowing how to handle scenarios and understanding what it means to stay grounded in your power, but also be vulnerable and help and be open to hear. There's a lot of times where Jesse will say some stuff and I have to just process it and go, before I accept it, before I agree, I just have to process and go, let me work that one back. And almost every time I have to really go, okay, Keith, you got to lay down your ego here. Your ego wants to be right all the time. And something Mike said the other day, he goes, sometimes when we're so good at something, we will no longer look at that thing with truly factual glasses anymore. I'm a great partner to you, like fucking phenomenal. And there are times where I drop the ball a little bit. But because I'm such a great partner, it can blind me to actually looking at the truth and going, are you though? It's why we put a lot of metrics in the married game thing. It's like, did you do the work or didn't you? Did you do the thing or didn't you? Did you like what? It's got to be binary. Did you do it or didn't you do it? You know what I'm saying? That allows you to understand what's really happening. And I think that most men fall into this. Like, I'm a pretty good this. It's like, let's really dive into that. Are you willing to look at the metrics? Are you willing to look at this with no rose-tinted glasses? And if you're really good at something, a friend of mine who's a business guy, and he was like, man, I prided myself on being a good business dude, but then when my business went through some troubles for about 8 months, I had to realize, well, shit, maybe I don't know a lot of stuff that I thought I knew. And what I thought was very interesting, he goes, a lot of us made a lot of money during COVID. And he goes, man, there was more Rolexes bought during COVID, more supercars bought during COVID, more coaching programs, online coaching programs bought during COVID. And so a lot of us in the space that benefited a lot from that, it's tempting to think of how bright and brilliant and smart you are as a business person. The landscape of that has changed. Almost every one of my friends, all of our numbers are different than they were during the COVID tsunami of cash that came in. And I feel like I'm learning more about business now, that it's harder than it's ever been for me. Now I'm learning like real business chops, not just you got something to sell and everybody fucking wants it, but it's how does this thing actually work? And Mike and I were talking about last night. He's like, we're getting really fucking fit, aren't we? I go, oh, bro, it feels like the business muscles are just bulging right now because they've been under some real scrutiny. And as much as the ego hates that, it's actually the only way to win. You be able to tell me, like, man, I didn't feel very connected to you this couple of weeks. Like, even though we were having sex and doing the thing, it was just like there was this best friend thing that we were kind of, it was there, but then it wasn't.
Yeah, the flame was a little lower.
And then we would get frustrated, and normally we could just brush it off, but this one lasted a few hours, and just kind of looking at you like, I'm going to go watch my show. You watch yours. I love you.
Space.
Fuck off, but don't really fuck off. You know what I mean? Like, I love you, but not right now exactly.
Oh, I get it. Right there with ya.
Yeah, so there it is, gang. Guys, listen, the answer to having a peaceful, playful, and pleasurable marriage is a skill set. Plain and simple. Jesse, did I have this when we first met each other?
No, hell no.
Not even fucking close. I had certain skill sets to be able to create short-term attraction, but I did not understand long-term attraction. And if you want a marriage that's on fire, that continues to be growing and getting deeper and getting more intimate and all the fun things that you want, all you need is the skill. Plain and simple. So if you want that skill, head to marriedgame.com and we'll show you exactly how. And as always, keep crushing it, because that shit is contagious.